Hi guys, welcome back. So, I mentioned on my channel recently that I had a few watercolour drawings that I wanted to do a bit of experimentation with. And that is because I did a bit of printmaking to do with Beverley Town Centre. And I wetted the paper with watercolour ink on it, and it did a very weird transfixed experimentation where the colours just ran off, and I loved that. And I thought I'd actually want to experiment it a bit more. So I've got two of my watercolour drawings that I did for, oh god, I keep hitting you, that I did for when I went to Mexico. I wanted to acknowledge the fact that the sea was constantly changing, the history behind the Mayan and Aztec culture that they had around where we were visiting. And I made a completely different outcome from that. Like, I did several little prints onto sugar paper, which turned out really, really well. I was so proud of it. But this was actually part of the process for me to be able to understand what I needed from it and what kind of line of prints I wanted. Originally I wanted to go quite big, but then I realised actually this isn't the process for me. So I'm going to go and escalate to something else. The good thing about keeping your artworks that you get from A to B is that you can always go back to them, and in this case this is what I'm doing. So I'm actually going to run these underneath water, and I'm going to show you the whole let's see if anything kind of happens situation. There's nothing special about it. I'm just going to be using a normal sink. I might cut these down halfways just because I am going to be printing on top of them. I don't know which printing medium I will be using, but it'll probably be one that I've got loads of leftover ink on. And then we're just going to go from there, really. Nothing too special, just want to have a little mess around and maybe some paintings or drawings. But I am going to only use one sheet because I feel like one of these will probably end up being used to print on my leftover ink from my previous prints. Yeah, so I'll join you in the bathroom. Okay, so we're now in the bathroom. I've actually had to do this in my sink because I completely forgot the paper. It's way too big for the sink and it'll just look a bit funny. So it is dead echoey in here, so we're just going to have to deal with it. And you are going to hear some loud noises because of the water, but we're just going to have a bit of fun and then go from there. Decided not to cut it up because I feel like I had then the option to do multiple prints onto it and then see what kind of happens. So we're just going to carry on with some cold water. You can probably see all the watercolour ink coming off in the water. But nothing crazy is happening right now. If anything, it's just getting lighter. Try the other side. I've got drawings on the back of this. These are just experimentations, which I can afford to lose because I did get a portrait out of them. Okay, so it's currently underneath this blanket. Soaking the paper actually helped with getting rid of the ink rather than just letting the water run over it, because it just runs over the surface. So I am using an old towel, so it's fine. So originally I was just going to do some random prints on it, but actually I'm going to use the leftover ink that I've got and maybe create a still life drawing. And that's something I want to do for a while. Sorry about the angle, by the way. I've had to move my instrument and it means that it can only be bent a certain way, otherwise you end up flopping onto the floor. Because this is water activated, the leftover ink that has dried will get reactivated and I'll print onto the paper to create some weird thing. I think that's the best description ever, but still very much working on the floor in my studio at the moment. And if you haven't seen my recent video about moving into the attic, I think you should, because it's dead interesting. Doesn't seem like much. But what is going to happen now is that I'm going to put this off to the side and then I'm going to draw onto it with either chalk, charcoal or some sort of mechanism. And we're going to go from there. I can actually show you an example of what this could potentially turn into. So here is the example of what it could potentially turn into. So this background is a used collage. I've just imprinted the blue spot on top of it with chalk and charcoal drawing on top, which is of a still life plant that was actually meant to go to the tip, and I ended up rescuing it and it came back to life. So there we have it, the circle of life, guys. And this one's actually framed. There are several others that are part of the collection, but I don't actually have them on me right now because they've actually been all framed and ready to send off to another exhibition. So guys, I'm going to leave this here. I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has given me a bit of an insight into my practice. I am continuously experimenting in terms of my art practice and trying to find my feet on what kind of direction I want to go to, because currently this is only part-time for me, but it is enough. It is enough for me to try and aim towards full-time being an artist. And even though I feel like I'm back to the drawing board after going to university and then working full-time for like the last 5 years, it's time to concentrate on what is important for me, and that is being an artist. So if you'd like to join me on that journey, please like and subscribe to my channel. There's also a PayPal donation page and my Patreon page as well if you'd like to subscribe. There's also my eBay selling account, which is where you'll find all my artworks that I feature on my channel, plus a couple of extras. If you can't do any of that, don't worry about it. I completely understand. Please just like and subscribe because it helps me out in exactly the same way. But until then, I shall see you guys later.